Hello and welcome, my friends and viewers, to this week's episode of Legendlore, where I draw pictures of monsters, characters, gods, and other things from D&D 5th edition, while giving a small but quickly digestible history about them. Together we'll go over their origins within the game, how they're utilized in the modern edition, and how I like to utilize them in my own games. Today we'll be going over another popular Forgotten Realms god, the god of war, Tempus, the Foehammer. Having been a part of Dungeons & Dragons since 1st edition, Tempest's lore and creation was an extremely arduous process, at least in the canon. In the history of the Forgotten Realms, the ancient war between the goddesses Selûne and Shar led to the creation of many potential war gods, Tempest being among them. These primordial gods constantly fought against each other, the winners absorbing the essence and power of those who had lost. Eventually, after a long and bloody conflict, Tempest stood as the sole god of war within the pantheon, having defeated and absorbed all of his competitors save for one, that being Garagos. He would be the only god that Tempest would have spared. Tempest himself is served by a number of lesser gods with smaller, more focused domains, such as the Red Knight, the deity of strategy and war planning, Valkur, the god of sea warfare, and Uthgar, a patron of the Uthgard barbarians north of the Sword Coast. The perception of Tempest by other gods varies quite wildly. Sunni saw Tempest as her enemy because of the destruction and pain that war causes, but Tempest did not consider her worth the conflict. Eldath, the goddess of peace and a pacifist, was always believed to be naive by Tempest, but he never sought to bring harm to her or her followers. This is because for him there is a value in the peace that follows war, and the followers that disobeyed his command to leave her alone were always met with the swift and harsh punishment, be they god, follower, or otherwise. Due to its tendency to have followers and priests on both sides of any conflict, the Church of Tempest has no real central authority. Each temple acts of its own accord, but holds a strict hierarchy and a chain of command within itself. Such holy orders include the Order of the Broken Blade, which honors warriors and clergy that can no longer fight at their best, and the Order of the Steel Fang, a group of the most battle-tested, elite priests that took on the most dangerous missions set about by their god. The tenets of the god of war were as such: be fearless, never flee from a fight, and always obey the conditions of war. Senseless slaughter and chaos have no place in the worship of Tempest. In terms of depiction, the Foehammer is usually shown as a man wearing full plate, bearing an axe or sword and a shield, sometimes seen riding a chariot pulled by a pair of steeds, Veros the White and Deros the Black. His holy symbol is a classic silver sword blazing in fire over a red shield. When it comes to my games, I strive to avoid depicting Tempest as a loud, Ares-like figure who one would expect. I don't have him revel in the chaos of battle, rather I show him as a man of skill, calm but decisive and deadly force when it is needed. I find his constant battle against Garagos to be a great representation of how soldiers must fight the urge to slaughter mindlessly and avoid becoming slaves to chaos and bloodlust on the battlefield. I personally don't use the Red Knight or any of the lesser gods associated with him, so instead I've taken them and molded them all into one singular interpretation, heralded by my own legendary clerical order, the Red Oath. Classes I like to align with Tempest are very vast due to his portfolio's versatility, including all manner of fighters, clerics, barbarians, rangers, and paladins, with the more specific ones being College of Swords and Valor Bards, and Abjuration, Evocation, and War Magic Wizards. I find that it's very rare for druids to worship Tempest, due to nature and the natural world being one of the biggest casualties most times in war. And rogues, save for maybe the swashbuckler, don't really embody the tenets of fair, upfront martial combat. And as per usual, I have a homebrew magic item for you guys this week. It's a very special item that has actually made an appearance in one of my games. It is the same flaming longsword that emblazons on any holy symbol of Tempest's, which I have come to name Vainglory. The longsword itself gains a +3 bonus to all attack and damage rolls made with it, and deals an additional 1d8 fire damage on a successful hit. Additionally, once per short rest, you can activate the sword as an action to cast Summon Elemental, allowing you to conjure a blazing soldier bearing the appearance of Tempest himself. If you do not have a spell attack bonus, you instead use your strength or dexterity when determining to hit and damage, as the soldier itself emulates the skills of the wielder. I've included a stat block on the description below. Tempest is an extremely popular deity with a simple but impactful backstory, and is one of the few who never really has to fear of decline due to the prominence of his domains of war and honor. Even though he may come to conflict with gods that are a little bit more peaceful, I feel that he may view himself and Garagos as a necessary evil. Perhaps that war is something that must be suffered through for peace to be able to stand. I want to thank all of you guys for watching, and if you want to keep updated on the next Legendlore, and press the bell icon in the corner to be notified of the next video, and you can also follow me on social media for progress of each art piece as well as other D&D content. If you guys feel like supporting the channel in other ways, I've recently put out a bit of homebrew content for you guys to use in your games, a small bestiary called the Goblin Thesis Volume 1. It's up on the DM's Guild with a link in the description, and it is pay what you want. So you guys will have access to a number of different goblins from different environments, all wielding an interesting variety of devastating powers. The CR goes from 1 to 10, so have at it, and keep goblins in your game way past first tier play. And as usual, please comment down below how you guys have used Tempest in your games, and let me know what other kind of D&D characters, monsters, and gods you guys would like to see in upcoming videos. Until the next video, I'll see you guys next time.